Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling the Eternal Servitude box for the Resurrectionist faction, the retainer keyword, which would be Yanlo's keyword. Box contains 6 minis. Yin, the Penangalan over here, Manos, the Risen, the gentleman with the big hat, Toshiro, the Daimyo, this guy with the popped out eyeball, and 3 Ashigaru, the skeleton soldier. That is our artwork, renders on the back, Manos with a spear and a bird of some kind, Yin being mostly entrails, Toshiro, big guy with guts, and then the 3 Ashigaru. Let's look at our sprues. Kind of a hot mess of sprues. These were all in different boxes, I believe, in 2nd edition, and they've just been cobbled together for this box. So we will go ahead and do, Manos here first. And then we'll go ahead and do Yin and Toshiro on this sprue, and then the 3 Ashigaru on this sprue. So let's go ahead and look at Manos's instructions first, and then go over our order of assembly. Got quite a few bits on this sprue, but nothing looking too impossible to handle. We'll grab the torso first, followed by the flowy part of his coat or pants or whatever. And then we will do the full left leg, the partial right leg, and then the effect that he's sort of standing on. And we'll go move back up to the arms. We'll do the right hand first, which is holding the spear, and after that we'll assemble the lamp and the 3 pieces of the bird that's coming out of the lamp together, and then attach that to his hand. After that we'll only have the hat to do, and his head, so we'll grab the head, the mask on his face right there, and then the hats, combine all 3, and then attach that to his neck stump. So we'll start with this bit, then this bit, this bit, this bit, and this bit. Okay, we've got our torso, and a nice tooth for our flowy clothes bit, which we'll attach in there. These are the 2 combined. Next is going to be our left leg slash, I guess, butt cheek, which is going to connect right on that tooth. It is this bent leg here. You can see where the tooth will fit. Really sticking that knee high up. Our right leg, our stump, I guess, is going to be connecting right there. Okay, right leg is done. There's no foot on the end of it, however you see the sort of bubble tooth right there. And if you look at our basing effect, you can see where that tooth is supposed to go, and then attached to that you can actually see his toes slash the thong of his sandals. So he'll be facing this direction when we attach him right there. You give that a long time to cure, because it is a pretty small connection point. But once that's nice and solid, let's go ahead and do our right hand, which is holding the spear. Okay, it doesn't go in as comfortably as I'd hoped it would, so just try and make it match the render, which is what I did. And the seam looks pretty good. I can't see that there's anything amiss, so I'm going to say that's probably pretty close to where it's supposed to be. So let's work on the lantern next, his lantern of souls. Here's the lantern. This is what he's holding on to, so these will glue onto his fist. But there's a bird coming out of the lantern. Here is the body of the bird. This is the bird's left side, and this is the bird's right side. So we'll assemble the 3 pieces of the bird, then attach the bird to the lamp, then attach the lamp to Manos. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's our, oops, hit the camera. Bird body, Now let's go ahead and add our left wing and leg right there. That fits in nice and snug. Look at the back. Alright, let's do our right wing and leg now. Okay. The entirety of the bird is done. As far as attaching it to the lamp, you can see this notch right here in the tail that will attach to the back side. You see this is nice and smooth. This is our attachment point. It actually took a good amount of force to get it to pop in there without any major gaps. Just make sure you put the pressure on the tail and not the wings, otherwise the wings will pop off. But that bird is all done. So you can see the break in the handle here is where his hand is going to go, so we will attach that to Manos's hand. Okay, this was kind of difficult, mostly because it can rotate all at once, and you needed to get it so that it is situated and matches the render. So what I ended up doing is setting him down on a flat surface where this is flat, and then adjusting the angle of the lantern so it is perpendicular with the floor, and that's more or less how it looks on the render. So we're going to call that good. Check both sides of where his hand attaches to the lantern and call it good. We have his head left, so let's work on that. At 3 bits, the back of the head and neck, the face covering and face, head, whatever, and then the hat. So put these two together, put the hat on top, and then attach it to his body and be done. Back of the head and hat strap. Now add the front of the face. Both bits combined equals a nice smooth top of the head, which is an oblong shape. Notice it's flatter on the forehead than it is the back of the head, which will match up to our hat. You can see the top there is the forehead, so front of the head will be on this side. Now the head of our lovely Manos is done. Our connection to the body is right here. That is his neck. Let's attach that now. Alright, he is all together finally. Let's put him on a base and review him. Manos the Risen is done. This model was mildly difficult. A decent amount of pieces, and pain points being getting him to connect to the little tiny bit his ankle is attached to on the bottom of the base, as well as getting the bird together, attaching it, and then attaching the lantern and the bird to his hand. The head went fine though, and the right arm wasn't too terrible either, but those two were kind of the big pain points. But we've got at least a couple models that are going to be simpler, so there's that. Let's move on. Yin, the Penangalan, is going to be considerably easier than Manos, but I'll still show you the instructions. Only 4 bits though, so I'd say grab the body, add the entrails / base, then the head, and finally attach the hair. But let's look at those instructions and do them in that order. Alright, here is our torso, sort of a torso. Our guts basing thing is going to connect right in there. Get rid of that fuzz. And they're effectively going to kind of attach like this. More or less. So do that. It wiggles a little bit, but you can kind of see these 2 tubies that go up into the torso. I guess the one tubie. This is just a mold line. But this tubie should line up with the one coming down from the torso. If they're not aligned, then do a little bit of twisting. But next will be our head, and I'll just attach right there. And there's our head. Don't worry about alignment too much. The hair will get it sorted. So speaking of the hair, it's going to obviously attach to the back of that here. I believe it connects somewhere around here. But it will also connect to the intestine on the bottom. You can see the very tip of the hair will connect right there. So glue that in. There we go. The hair will basically align everything else. So as long as you've got it connected right along here, Then you can just kind of hold that down and mush the torso and the head into the hair to make sure that they're connected. So, good thing that was last. I think it might have been a little awkward otherwise, but we're done already. Let's put her on a base. Yin, the Penangalan, is done. 4 bits, pretty easy. Hardest part was attaching the intestine to the torso. But that was pretty simple, and again, the hair will get everything to line up pretty well. So, let's just move on. Toshiro, the Daimyo, is next. A few more bits than Yin, but also still should be a pretty simple build. We will grab the body, and we'll do the left arm and the right arm. Then we'll attach the head, add the flag that is going through him to the front of the body, which attaches to his neck, and as well as the body. Then the the other end of the flag that is coming out the back of his torso, that will connect right in there in that hole. And once all those are in, we'll go ahead and do his hair, which, yeah, we'll figure out exactly what the angle is, but start with these 3 bits. Now let's look at the instructions. Here we've got the body. Now the arm with the sword, the left arm, is going to attach right there. There we go. It is not just attached to the shoulder, but also the wrist right here on the edge of the coat, and the blade attaches to his knee. Now let's do the right arm, the one holding the fan. Same situation as the left arm. The arm will not just attach at the shoulder, but also along the torso, and the fan will attach to his thigh. Alright, let's add his head next. Head is attached, went in just fine, but we got this big gap, which is going to be our flag, which has been jammed through his torso. Yeah, let me figure out exactly the orientation of that and I'll glue it in. Okay, turns out you need to attach the flag to his neck first before you attach the head to the torso, but you can see our orientation. If we look at the connection point, it's pretty smooth, not much of a gap. Now add the head to the body. Alright. I wonder how you died. Okay. Our back part of the flag is this bamboo piece. We're going to jam it in there, and I will orient it so it is basically an extension of a flag. Let's do that. Yep. There we go. That looks great. Okay. Last is going to be his hair, which is going to go right in the top of his head, and got this weird wedge shape. Give me one sec, because it's really hard to see. Oops. Really tiny bit, so really hard to see, but this is the orientation we're looking for. So basically, you can see the wedge that's slightly offset and is pointed towards the top of his head. It's just going to go in like that. Dry fitting is your friend. Alright, hair is in, and Toshi is all done. Let's put him on a base. Toshiro, the Daimyo, is completed. Okay, a few points. One, make sure you attach the flag, banner, whatever, to his neck before you attach the head to the torso. Make sure that you don't accidentally clip off the connection tooth for the back, or the bottom part of the... whatever part of the banner is sticking out of his back. I'm tired on cold meds. I can't think straight. That I almost clipped off the part that it's needed to just jam into his back, so be careful with that. And lastly, the hair is very, very tiny, and you need to dry fit it before you're certain that the orientation is correct. Best of luck with that. Still not really a difficult. I put this at like a medium difficulty, so not too terrible. Thought it would be easier, but it's not bad. So let's move on to our minions now. Our Ashigaru, the last 3 models we got to assemble. We'll note we will go 1, 2, 3 down the line of the sprue. However, according to the instructions, this is Ashigaru 2, and this is Ashigaru 1. 3 and 3 in the instructions appear to line up. So we will look at the instructions and get started with Ashigaru 1. This is is going to be relatively simple. We'll grab the body, add the arms to both shoulders, add the head on top, and then attach the flag to his back right there. So grab this bit, then arms, head, flag. Here's the body. Be very gentle cutting out this bit because it's a bunch of very thin pieces of plastic. We don't want to shatter any of them, but they should be able to just slot in there kind of like that. He's going to be holding the spear pointed in this direction. I have it, so glue those in. Those awkward anime girl knees. Alright, head. I'm just gonna go right on top where heads normally go. There is our head. I had to retrim the connection point on the bottom because it was sticking up just a little too high. Alright, last bit, the flag going on the back here, going to be standing probably kind of upright. Well, it's not as upright as I thought it would be, but it looks good. Alright, put them on a base and we can get started on the next one. Ashigaru number 1 is done. Hardest part was getting the arms to attach to the shoulder sockets. Oh wait, no, I gotta name them. I apologize in advance. We're gonna name this one Rib Van Winkle. Haha, dad jokes. Alright, but, 4 bits. Can't complain too much about that. Shoulders went in alright. I think actually the biggest problem is making sure you don't accidentally snap anything when you're clipping it out, because skeleton arms and spears, just thin bits, can break pretty easily. Let's move on to our second one. Ashigaru number 2 is going to be extremely similar to the last one. Take the body out, then we will add the arms. This time he's pointing the spear down as opposed to across his body. Put the head on, and then the flag. Okay, we've got the body. Now add the arms like before, right in the shoulder sockets. There we go. That one was a little less awkward. Pretty easy to put them in. Now let's add the head. That is a very wobbly connection. I just made it look like the render, which was not too hard to do. Yep, the head's in. Check our seam. Looking good. Alright, last bit. The flag, which you can see the big hole in his back where it's going to attach. The connection point being this big tooth right there. This one is even more awkwardly cockeyed than the other one. But he's done. Put him on a base. Ashigaru number 2 is done. We're gonna call him Pelvis Presley. I'm dying inside. Yeah, pretty easy. I guess the most difficult part was the head, or the arms. Easiest one so far. So I'll take it. I'm now looking forward to the next one, though. Let's move on. Our third Ashigaru had to just go and be special and isn't 4 bits, sadly. So it's going to be just a little bit more effort. We will grab the torso right here, add the left leg and the right leg together. We might have to attach them together before we put them on the torso. We will see. And once we've got the base done, we can go ahead and do, I think this is the right arm, the left arm, the flag on the back, and then the head will be our last bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get to it. Okay, yeah, we need to glue the legs together first, because there's no solid connection to the torso. So these are also going to go together awkwardly. The thing you want to actually get lined up correctly is the connection point, which will attach to the torso. So you're looking at roughly how it's going to connect, but if you look at the bits on the other sides, it doesn't really look right. Just trust right here, this seam is what you want to get closed. There we go. That is pretty good. Now let's add the torso on top. Use the render as a guide, because I don't think this is going to fit too solidly. This took a lot of fiddling, like an hour later, and I am not happy with how it goes on, but I genuinely can't figure out proper orientation that will also fit the flag, which I attempted to attach to the torso first to get it on there, and that did not help. This is a Malifaux 1.5 model, so I'm going to assume it is some issue with the sprue. Hopefully they can replace these models sometime in the near future. But this matches very close to the render, and it is a minion, so I'm just going to keep going forward. Next is going to be our flag. It's going to fit in this big hole in the back, and we're going to try and get the angle to match the way it is on the render. But there's some very obvious connection point right there. That I'm going to call good. Okay, next is going to be our left arm. That is the one holding the back of the spear. So this guy, then the right arm, connect the two, and then the head. Actually, we're going to do the head first because it's going to be harder to put it in when both arms are up. Head first. Oh boy, am I starting to hate this thing. This was hard to get it to look straight. It's still not quite looking straight. But we're going to keep going. Now the left arm holding the back end of the spear. Okay, there's a little shelf that is attached to the shoulder that fits right in that nice connection point in there. So I think it's relatively straight, but we'll see. We'll be able to align it once we get the right arm, which will attach right in there. Okay, didn't take too much to get them to align, but overall a very, very fiddly model. I'd say at least top 10 worst minis I've assembled in this line. That's what happens when you're assembling something as old as a 1.5 edition miniature. Let's get him on the base now. Ashigaru number 3 is done. We're going to call him Yorick. I hate this model. Now, obviously the big pain in the butt was figuring out the torso going on top of the legs with the flag in there somehow, and it doesn't look terribly great, but it matches the render surprisingly well. So I'm going to call it barely a success, but also getting the arms to line up with the spear wasn't exactly easy either, nor was the head. Just a whole lot of pain points. I did not enjoy it, to be perfectly honest, but you know what? You probably can get away with just assembling 2 Ashigaru if you really don't want to do this. That's all I gotta say. Alright, let's look at the whole box. The Eternal Servitude box is completed, containing Manos the Risen, Yin the Penangalan, Toshiro the Daimyo, and 3 Ashigaru. Right. Not... was kind of difficult. Manos was... just had a lot of bits, and that lantern is still buggy, and also, of course, the tiny ankle attaching to the fairly small basing bit. You're going to have that model risk snapping off quite a bit. That and the third Ashigaru just being an unnecessarily difficult model that I'm probably going to hate for a very, very long time. Yay me. So yeah, I would say this is a difficult box because of those 2 models and some stuff with Toshiro. So yeah, not like way up in the difficulty. It's not my top 10, I don't think, but it's not great. So I wish you the best of luck. I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux.